Hello everyone, I am Brittany, the Cosmic Lunar Soul. Welcome to my channel. If you are new, welcome back to all of my subscribers. Today I have another unboxing. Sorry about the glare, but we're going to get over that in a second. This is the Cats Rule the Earth Tarot. It is by, it's illustrated by Thiago Correa, sorry if I say that wrong, and written by Catherine Davidson. So it says it's for the feline obsessed. So over here at the Cosmic Lunar Soul household, this rings true. It's a very, very big box, but let's talk about the price. You can get this on Amazon currently for about $25 at the time of recording, but this retails for $29.99 in the US, $37.95 in Canada, and $21.99 in the UK. So if you're curious about retail prices, there you go. I'm gonna go ahead and get the plastic off, and then we're gonna talk about the box. So I'll be right back. Alrighty, I'm back. This is a beautiful matte box. You can see that glare is all gone. And on the front, we have the title, and then these cute little kitties here, these three little cats surrounded by a moon. It's just glorious. I love the artwork on this box. It seems like it reminds me of back in the day, like the cliche, you know, those machines where you put a quarter in and it'll tell you like your future. That's what it reminds me of, like at a carnival. So at the top and bottom of the box, you just kind of have the generic I guess symbols here in the box, and then on the side we have the title, which I like. So if you're putting this on a bookshelf this way, you can see the title here, but a lot of times the shelf I use, I slide in this way. So I wish there was a title on the tops and bottoms as well, but I mean, the box is so unique, you're not really gonna confuse it. And then on the other side we also have the title. On the back here, we have a little spiel about the deck. It says, nurture your divine feline wisdom through the ancient art of tarot with this cat-themed deck and illuminating guidebook. It goes on to say, our relationship with the cats as creature companions and the myriad of ways they express themselves, beautifully realized in this deck, grant these cards a mystical harmony. This deck will help you to explore the magic of the tarot. All right. We have some examples of the cards here. More cats. Goes into the illustrator, who, again, I am so sorry if I butchered the name, but it's Thiago Correa. They're a Brazilian visual artist and illustrator. And then the author, Catherine Davidson, just writes on other spiritual matters. So let's go ahead and crack the box open. Let me see how this opens. Ooh, it's a swing top. That's cool. This is actually quite a large box too. Like, this is my full hand stretched out. I can just touch both sides. So it's quite a large box, very reminiscent of my Game of Thrones tarot and my Everyday Witch tarot. The inside of the box says, open your mind and the answers will follow, with this cool little mystical cat here. This is quite an unboxing experience. So right here, this is actually the guidebook. So it's quite a large book. If you like to travel with your guidebooks, you probably won't like that this is so big, but it's a lovely guidebook, and we'll get into this in the next part of the video. Here, the rest of the box, we have the cards, which are in this sleeve, very traditional. And then we have some cool designs throughout the other box. So we have this cute little playful kitty here, some cool mystical candles and a skull, some lanterns, and then this cat here reading. Very, very reminiscent of my Everyday Witch tarot as well. And I just love the artwork. So this is a really nice box. It's nice and sturdy. Even the swing top, I will say opening it is a little tough. I wish they had thumb holes right here. Especially if there's no deck and book in it, because it's so lightweight, it doesn't have any weight to hold it down when you're trying to open it. But it seems pretty well built for such an affordable deck, and the box is quite lovely. I worry about the seam, but it doesn't seem too terribly concerning, at least not right now. Especially looking at the outside, seems very reinforced. So I'm gonna go ahead, put the box off to the side, and we're gonna look at the guidebook. The guidebook has this really awesome fluffy kitty on the front holding their scepter with the yarn ball right here. And yeah, it's laid out pretty similarly, illustrated, written by. And then the back has this, I'm assuming this is going to be the Three of Swords in the card deck as well. So opening it up, we have the table of contents. You know I'm all about a nice table of contents. And it's color illustrated, which I expect of a book this size, but not necessarily expect from a deck of this price with a book of this size, if that makes sense. I've had plenty of Kickstarter decks that I pay $40, $50 for that don't have a colored book, so I'm loving this so far. So let me look through the breakdown here. We have Cats and Tarot and Enduring Affinity. And then we have the Consulting the Tarot section, which is your standard beginning introduction of a guidebook, you know, getting to know the cards, spreads, readings, etc. And then it goes immediately into the major arcana, followed by the minor arcana, broken up into Wands, Pentacles, Swords, and Cups. Interesting, because usually I feel like Cups is like the first one and Pentacles is like the last one. But here, this section is the Cats and Tarot and Enduring Affinity. This section is all about just explaining how cats and spirituality intersect, both historically and symbolically. It goes on here in this section. It says, cats have a particular affinity with the tarot. They are associated with sensitivity and curiosity, which are qualities that a reader draws on as they explore the deck, and which are enhanced by study and regular use of the cards. I really like that. So it's like correlating cats to the reader as well. And me being a cat person, I'm pretty sure if I believed in past lives, I was a cat in all of them. And will be a cat in the next one, I hope. It goes through cats and divination. It says, like tarot, cats themselves have been used for divination. The ancient Egyptians studied cat behavior to predict the future. They would not have very much luck with my space cadets, Apollo and Luna. They're not future material. And then it goes on specifically about this deck. It says, this beautiful tarot deck has been created by Thiago and celebrates the spellbinding appeal of the cat in its many forms. The cards are reimaginings of the designs of the Rider-Waite deck, which is probably the best known tarot in the world, which is somewhat true, but not the only one, just so you guys know. So in the traditional deck, a single feline appears at the feet of the Queen of Wands, which is why she's one of my favorite cards in the entire deck. That queen is a nurturing, positive presence, but the cat is a hint that she is in touch with her shadow and unafraid to use her power. I really like that. I like that they bring all of that home. So here we have the Consulting the Tarot section. It says, in uncertain times we look for life direction, which is very true. You know, a lot of times people come to tarot readers because they're not sure. They're just feeling a little stuck and don't know what direction to go to. But beautiful illustration. All of these pages are a nice thick matte, so they're not thin. You really can't see the the full printed page. You can't really see through that, so you can't see the design on the opposite side, which is a great quality of this book. Okay, I'm starting to love this even more. So this is just an introduction to tarot. If you don't know tarot, it does devote a full page to like a little bit of the background, an explanation of the majors, and a very brief explanation of the minor. So this is assuming that you kind of already have an understanding. It doesn't dive too deep, but if you are new to tarot, it does give you a kickoff point. This is where I'm loving it. Gets into numerology and court cards. A lot of people struggle, especially with court cards. I personally struggle remembering all of the numerology, even though I really, really love to incorporate numerology into my readings. So I oftentimes have to go back to a reference to look them up. And having it here in a book is perfect because, there's nothing wrong with consulting your guidebook from time to time or every time. Not everybody has the capability to remember things or commit everything to memory. And sometimes, as a reader, you just get a vibe and you're like, there's something more to this that I'm not seeing. And being able to read the guidebook just triggers everything else. So there's nothing wrong with it at all. And I love that they incorporate the numerology, but then also the court cards. So here it just goes through major topics to help you build yourself as a tarot reader, deepening your knowledge, practice your intuition, learn the meanings, daily readings, make pairings, look at numbers, reverse meanings. Goes into more or less how to prepare for the reading, asking the question, shuffling. I do kind of like that it talks about different shuffle methods, but I feel like that changes from time to time, so having this in here is maybe like a nice thing, like if you're just feeling blocked for the day. And then, of course, ending with starting to read. I like this section, reading truthfully for yourself. We all like to read our own cards, but you will no doubt find that reading for yourself is not as accurate as when someone else reads for you, simply because you don't have perspective when looking at your own life. I love this section. This section is really great. This could be a whole book in and of itself because I spend a lot of times in tarot chats and I see this come up a lot. A lot of people have a lot of difficulty reading for themselves because they can't pull themselves out of the reading. One of the tips that me and the other co-hosts give people is to look at the reading as if you are the curant. So read as if read in the first person, third person. So if I'm doing my reading, I would say, okay, Brittany, the cards are showing that you are blah, 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 instead of in my head thinking I'm seeing these cards in this way and the cards are telling me this. Pull yourself out of the reading. I love this message as well. One reading only. If you don't understand the message, or even if it's not to your liking, it's tempted to lay another spread or another card. And then it just leads to another and another. Don't. Instead, take a note of the cards and the date. Avoid revisiting the same question for a few weeks. But do look back on the cards and the message may become easier to interpret with a little distance. I recommend this to people all the time. So there's other things in here that I just love. I'm loving this guidebook, this perspective from Thiago and Catherine. Read when calm. Stop picking extra cards. Plays off of one reading only. Keep it simple. Accept the message. The amount of people I get on my YouTube that ask the same question over and over again because they don't like the message is astounding. Reading for others. Tell a tale, be kind, be sensitive, don't push. Watch your own biases. This is something that is hard to do, especially me. I'm an opinionated Taurus, so I always have to mentally check myself before I say things. So if you've ever caught my live streams, sometimes you hear me pause and I'll say, I'm trying to put this in the right words, and it's because I'm trying to make sure that I'm not applying my own biases to your readings. Because it's not what you're not coming here for my advice, you're coming here for the cards advice. And then I will sometimes follow up with, okay, this is what the cards are saying, but this is how I would help you if I was like your friend, Look for clues, have a dialogue, and be trustworthy. Having a dialogue is really fun. It's hard to do on the internet or, verbally if you're sending readings to people via documents, but I really enjoy the have a dialogue when I do my free readings with my members because we'll do them live and we can talk back and forth and we'll talk through different cards, and a lot of times they remember their own readings much more than I can because I go through so many people. They'll remember that certain cards kept popping up in representation of certain aspects of their life. So it's so cool to be able to have that back and forth, because that really does ebb and flow the way that the readings go. But of course, all of this comes with time and practice and figuring out who you are as a reader, figuring out who your cards are and stuff like that. Here we get into the different spreads. They're pretty standard right now. The 1 card spread, the different 3 card spreads. It does go into yes, no answers. It says in this reading, the card positions are not assigned to any particular aspect of the questioner's life, so must be read as a group. So what they're doing is using 3 cards as a yes, no reading. So it says 2 or more positive cards means yes, whereas 2 or more negative cards indicates no. I've seen people use that method. I don't like using tarot for yes or no. It seems like a waste of my time and shuffling and all of that. But I have seen people do that. Of course, this would not be a cat deck if we did not have a cat themed spread. This is the cat's paw spread. This is a 5-card spread, and it comprises of a foundational card, like the pad of a cat's paw, along with 4 equally spaced cards placed above. These 4 cards represent the digits of the cat's paw, which the cats use to adjust their balance and navigate away through all kinds of terrain. So card 1 is where you are now, where you are headed, external forces, inner forces, advice or outcome. It seems like a cut down Celtic cross, similar to that. And speak of the devil, here is the Celtic cross. So the difference is there's no cross card, so we removed this cross card that's kind of similar to what the previous one was, but I've actually started to like the Celtic cross, and I use them for my members during our live readings. Here we get into the Major Arcana. Look at this dapper young fellow. The Major Arcana, it says in this chapter, we dive into the universal themes of the Major Arcana. Take note of what stands out for you as you read the interpretation of each card. How does the card make you feel? What comes to mind as you look at the card? Try to connect intuitively with each card before going over the meaning. Oh, these are so cute. I can't wait to look at the cards. Okay, focus. So this is laid out 2 cards per page, which is really different from Major Arcana. Usually Major Arcana get 1 page. We have the title of the card, just kind of like a phrase here that describes the card. We have the keywords or key phrases, and then a spiel here, and then down here we have a reverse spiel as well. I wish there were reverse keywords. I thrive personally on keywords versus like a spiel, because I want to create my own spiel based off of the keywords. But not everybody is like that. Some people like the more flowery narrative nature of a guidebook. So this does more or less incorporate all of that. I do just miss the reverse cards. I was gonna say I wish they had the numbers over them, but because the cards are labeled and have the numbers, it's not necessarily a big deal. But quite lovely. You can see this illustration. I'm gonna just skip around a little bit because all of the majors are the same way. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to look at these cards. Look at them. All right, let's skip ahead to the minors. Here we go. Here we have the Minor Arcana. It just explains 56 cards, gives in-depth look to how the tarot can help guide, empower, and motivate. Let's just go ahead and look at them. So this is the wands. We're starting with the wands. The illustrated side gives an explanation of the overview of wands. So I'm not going to read through all of them, but I'll just to explain how it's broken down. It says wands in the tarot signify growth. They're associated with the element of fire, and the cards are linked to the inner drive to progress and express yourself, whether through work, spirituality, creatively endeavor, or to broaden your horizons with travel or study. So again, the pages are devoted to 2 cards each. We have the picture above. Let me see, is that Okay, that's for all of them. The picture is above, and then we have the, I guess, the number, keywords, little spiel, and then a reverse spiel. So, laid out fairly similarly. It's just that now we don't have a cover or an illustration page on the side. We just go through this, and that's what keeps the book from being monstrous, really. But you can see that that is laid out in that way. So let me skip to the back, see if there's anything back there, and then we can get started looking at the cards. Okay, that is the end of the book. Has the same phrase as the inside of the box. Let's go ahead, adjust the camera, and get into the flip through. All right, we are back, guys. Oh my gosh, I love these. So let's talk about let's look at the backs of the cards real quick, and then we'll talk about the illustration. This was actually on the inside of the box in a different color. But the cards are fully reversible. So if I switch that upside down, you from the back would not know the difference. If you like to fan your cards out, or, you know, depending how you shuffle and pull your cards, I know a lot of people like that. So that way you can incorporate reversals without the subtlety of like maybe being influenced by that. But the cards are lovely. The backs are fully matte, and then the fronts are as well. So let's go through. There were some cards that I just, oh my gosh, where is it? Where is my queen? Here it is. This was so cute. And I like that in the beginning of the guidebook, as I mentioned earlier, it mentions the Queen of Wands that has a little black cat. Well, you know, here she is, and here's the little black cat, and it's like mama cat and baby cat. But I just love that so much. As you went through, you kind of noticed that this is almost completely a clone of Rider-Waite-Smith. There are some differences in here, but you know, like, look at that card. Oh my goodness, I got so distracted. Look at the whole family. Oh, so there are some differences, but for the most part, if you're familiar with Rider-Waite-Smith, you will notice very much the you'll very much notice the similarities. One thing I do appreciate is that it doesn't show violence towards any of the cats. So, you know, in traditional Rider-Waite-Smith, the swords are in the person's back. But because the cats are so, you know, I would say realistic in comparison to some of the other cat decks, I appreciate that they didn't show the cat being stabbed in the back, but instead just sort of like they threw the knives at them kind of while their backs were turned, that kind of thing. So I do really much appreciate that. I do also want to point out that there's actually diversity in this deck. They show disabled cats. Let's see if I can find it. Here is the Chariot. You can see that they put the disabled cat that has the wheelchair as the Chariot, and I just, oh my gosh, it makes me want to cry, but you know, I'm a thug, so I'm not going to do that. But they showed a one-eyed cat. I want to say it was the one of the swords. I think it was Seven of Swords. Oh no, Seven of Swords was a tattooed cat. Let's see, maybe it was Five of Swords. Five of Swords was the one-eyed cat. So, you know, if a cat deck can show diversity, then, you know, all decks at this stage, it's 2022, can show diversity as well. Let's talk about the cardstock. The cardstock is a little thin, not garbage thin, but definitely on the thinner side. Considering the box and the book, I guess I kind of expected that because they have to, you know, make it affordable somehow. They are fully matte, like I said, on the back. They're fully matte on the front as well. They're a little sticky. You can see them clumping together, but that's pretty typical of new decks. They were also slippery, so I think once they're broken in a little more, they'll have like a nice feel in terms of no longer clumping, but also not being too slippery either. Kind of like my Game of Thrones tarot. It's broken in very well. So let's look at the shuffleability. Let's do the overhand first. Ugh, they are very sticky right now. I gotta get them all broken in, and I think once I do my ripple, that should help. But other than being a little sticky up front, not too bad. They have a nice grip, and even though they're thin, they do this a little bit, but not, you know, not to the point where I'd worry that I'd actually like accidentally meat grip my cards and like crush them or anything. I do have some decks where that very much happens. If you saw my flip through of the Wild Unknown? No. Oh my gosh. I'll put it in the cards. I'll put it in the cards. But if you saw that flip through, it even had a plasticky sound to it. Wasn't my favorite. I think I'm gonna do reversals in this deck, so I'm gonna go ahead and, well, okay, yeah. Let's test out the bridge and riffle and bridge. Oh, that was nice. I feel like this will ooh, that will break it in really well. So I mentioned the cards are thinner, so they're not going to hold on to a bend as much as thicker cards would. They will still bend. You can kind of see that. So if you want to be a riffle or bridge shuffler, you got to get over that. You can, I've seen people do it. I can't do it very well, where you just kind of loosely let the cards fall, but as you can see, I can't do that. You can do that. That is still kind of a riffle, but yeah, if you want to do a traditional riffle and bridge, then you'll have to just be okay with a nice little bend. I will say this bridged beautifully, and I like that because the cards are so thin, it's easier on my hands. I told you guys a while back that I kind of jammed my thumb, so it's been a little achy. Shuffling some of the thicker decks have been a little more difficult. Let's see how well it fans. So let me move these away. All right, let's see. Ooh, chunky. Let's try one more time. Yeah, chunky slide. This is a little smoother of a background than my previous one, but I wonder, you know, as this gets broken up, because even the overhand shuffle is getting better. Let's try it one more time. Nope, chunky. Chunky fan. So if you're going for your Instagram aesthetics of fanning out your deck, maybe not so much with this one, unless you do it delicately. All right, everyone, that was my flip through. Comment below which of the cards were your favorite. If you have this deck, let me know how you like to use it, how it's fit into your collection. And if you want to see this on my next live stream, comment below and let me know that as well. Otherwise, if you enjoyed this video, give me a like, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. And I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.